Hi, I'm Julie, and this video in our series will focus on the program standards for rehabilitation and the types of treatments that may or may not be appropriate for your home. The standards are a list of 10 guidelines that, when applied, can go a long way towards preserving the historic character of your home. As you'll see in the slide, the basic standards include such items as preserving your historic building fabric, that is to say, repairing rather than replacing. But in the event that the damage is beyond repair, then you'll replace the element in kind. And it is also focusing on items such as preserving the historic and distinctive characteristics of your home as well. All work undertaken during the tax credit period must meet the standards. Further, the State Historic Preservation Office recently instituted a policy that required at least 65% of the total eligible expenditures include work directly related to the long-term preservation of historic building fabric and character-defining features. This might include roof replacements, chimney and foundation repointing, electrical and plumbing upgrades, as well as repairing damaged plaster and refurbishing original millwork, cabinetry, and staircases. Examples of work that is not directly related to the long-term preservation of historic building fabric would be kitchen and bath renovations, additions, and alterations to the floor plan, such as creating an open concept in a home with historically defined living spaces. So how would this be calculated in real terms? Let's say an application was submitted for $80,000 worth of improvements. Those improvements included a new roof for $15,000, chimney repointing for $5,000, and upgrades to the electrical system for another $5,000, as well as a kitchen renovation for $60,000. The first three items lend themselves towards the long-term preservation of the property, while the kitchen renovation does not preserve historic building fabric or any character-defining features. Since 65% of the total eligible expenditures must be preservation-related, the calculation would work out in this way. You have an $80,000 project, $25,000 of which lends itself towards the long-term preservation of your home. $25,000 is 65% of what number? As it turns out, it's $38,400. Now, using $38,400 as your base total qualified rehabilitation expenditures, we will calculate the value of the credit as 30% of that number, which at $38,400 is just over $11,000, and that will be the value of your tax credit for the project. While all work must meet the standards for rehabilitation, it is worth noting that there are some types of projects that the State Historic Preservation Office will generally not approve and would not be considered eligible under the program. For example, the Historic Preservation Office will likely not approve a project that calls for replacing the historic windows. Studies have shown that refurbishing an historic window and installing a well-fitting storm can be just as efficient as insulated glass replacements. The Historic Preservation Office will also likely not approve removing decorative wood trim details and replacing them with plastic or vinyl. Introducing insulation into the walls is not a treatment that the Historic Preservation Office generally approves, particularly when spray foam insulation is proposed. Insulation can damage historic plaster finishes and alter the relationship between the wall and the window openings. While we just went over a few don'ts, I will say that in general, working with the standards is intuitive. If you bought your home for its historic charm, then the work you undertake to preserve that charm will most likely meet the standards. And while I hope that this video helped to clarify some of our policies and review criteria, if you have any questions about whether or not the project you are thinking about will meet the standards, do not hesitate to email the program administrator, whose information can be found on our website at www.cultureandtourism.org. Thank you for watching our video, and good luck with your project.